what if trying to silence people online, well, it didn't just backfire, but actually sparked a revolution?
Hmm.
Today, we're diving into Nepal's recent Gen Z protests. It's quite a story how a digital ban became really the flashpoint for anger that's been building for decades.
Yeah, decades. And it led to a government falling apart.
Right. So our mission really is to unpack this whole youth-led movement, starting with that online discontent, but then spilling into pretty serious street violence.
And there are some surprising layers here. Economic frustration, big political shifts. It's complex.
Definitely.
What's really striking, though, is how that attempt to silence dissent online, it basically amplified it massively.
Okay, so set the scene. When did this actually kick off?
It properly starts in August 2025. Nepal's government issues this decree.
Yeah.
Tells, 26 major social media companies?
Yeah.
Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, X. They've got 7 days to register locally.
7 days? That's not long.
Not at all.
Okay.
And, well, they didn't comply. So midnight, September 4th, bang. For a lot of Nepalis, the digital world just switched off.
And this wasn't just about, say, standard regulation, was it? There feels like more going on there.
Oh, absolutely. A huge political miscalculation. The government said it was about curbing hate speech, enforcing tax rules, standard justifications. But the really telling detail, kind of buried in the sources, is TikTok.
Yeah.
It just kept running. No interruption.
Because they're Chinese-owned, ByteDance.
Exactly. They just opened a local office, complied pretty quickly, it seems. So Western platforms get blocked, but TikTok stays. It definitely looked like a lean towards China.
Right. So what did the government get so wrong about the public mood here?
They fundamentally misjudged it completely. They thought, okay, shut down the platform, shut down the noise. But the anger wasn't coming from social media. It was already there, deeply rooted. Decades of systemic issues, corruption, you name it.
So social media was just the outlet, not the cause?
Precisely.
Yeah.
The protesters' main chant. It wasn't about getting Facebook back. It was crystal clear. Social media? No. End corruption.
Yeah.
The band just ripped the bandage off, you could say.
Okay, let's dig into those deeper roots then. This wasn't out of the blue. You had the hashtag #NepoKid movement building for a while, right?
Yeah, that was simmering long before the ban, especially, like you said, on TikTok, but also Reddit. These videos were everywhere.
Showing what, exactly?
Showing the kids of politicians living these incredibly lavish lives overseas. You know, fancy cars, studying abroad, luxury holidays.
back home.
While back home, the reality for most young Nepalis was, frankly, grim. That's where the economic despair really bites. The World Bank had youth unemployment at nearly 20% last year.
20%? That's high.
It's incredibly high. And you had something like 740,000 young people leaving the country every year. Some estimates say over 2,000 a day.
Wow. Just looking for work elsewhere.
Desperately seeking better opportunities abroad. And this brain drain, it's not just an economic hit. It also kind of inadvertently fueled the protests. Those left behind felt even more abandoned, more outraged.
Okay, so you have this deep well of anger, economic frustration, the Nepo kid stuff, the perceived corruption, and then the social media ban is the spark.
That's it. And it finally boiled over on September 8th. Gen Z groups, student organizations, they called for a peaceful march in Kathmandu.
Peaceful.
Started peacefully. Thousands showed up outside Parliament, high school kids even. But the government's response, it was brutal.
What happened?
Police used water cannons, tear gas, rubber bullets, and then, tragically, live ammunition.
Live rounds on protesters.
Yes. Human Rights Watch slammed it, called it an appalling disregard for the lives of its own citizens. Reports are a bit varied on numbers, but somewhere between 15 and maybe 36 people died, hundreds injured.
That's horrific.
There's this account from an 18-year-old student, Surov, speaking from his hospital bed, said the protester right next to him, a shot in the chest, died instantly. That kind of violence, it just transformed things. Peaceful demos turned into, well, riots.
So the next day, September 9th, all hell breaks loose.
Pretty much. The anger over Monday's killings just erupted. People defied curfews, started setting government buildings on fire.
Which buildings?
The Parliament building itself, the Supreme Court, even Singha Dubar, that's like the main government complex. All attacks set ablaze. Homes of the Prime Minister, KP Sharma Oli, and a former PM, Duba, were also targeted.
And this wasn't just random vandalism. It felt symbolic.
Oh, deeply symbolic. Protesters were actually celebrating in front of these burning buildings, shouting it was the end of corruption.
And the immediate political fallout.
Prime Minister Oli resigned that same day, September 9th. Some reports even said he had to basically hide out in army barracks because his own home was torched.
So the protests achieved their immediate aim, getting rid of the PM, but that leaves a vacuum.
A huge vacuum. And what's really notable about this movement, this uprising, is that it didn't have one single clear leader.
Which is interesting. That can be a strength, right? Harder to decapitate.
Exactly. It allowed for that spontaneous eruption. But it also raises questions about, what comes next, future stability.
Though even without one leader, some figures did gain traction, didn't they? People started looking towards, say, the mayor of Kathmandu.
Yeah, Blunder Shahbal, he became quite prominent. And Kulman Gising, who used to head the electricity authority, people saw them as different, practical, not part of the old political class. That definitely resonated with the youth.
Shows a real hunger for a different kind of leadership.
Absolutely. Which brings us to the big question. Can this energy, this popular anger, actually lead to lasting political change? Or does it just fizzle out, or worse, lead to more chaos? And what's fascinating is Nepal's situation isn't unique in the region, is it? We're seeing echoes elsewhere.
Like in Sri Lanka.
Exactly. Sri Lanka's Galaya movement, also largely leaderless, demanding systemic change. And you see student revolts in Bangladesh, too.
And the common threads are
Corruption, nepotism, economic hardship.
right.
It points to this broader disillusionment among young people across South Asia with their political systems. They feel locked out, ignored.
And for you listening, this isn't just a story about Nepal. Its instability matters regionally. It impacts India's border, trade, tourism. What this deep dive really showed us is how something like a social media ban could accidentally unleash such powerful forces.
Forces that were already there, just waiting for a catalyst. It took down a prime minister.
So here's the provocative thought we want to leave you with.
Right. This movement, as we said, didn't have a traditional leader, yet it achieved this massive immediate impact bringing down a government. So what does that absence of traditional leadership really mean? For Nepal's future stability, yes, but also for these other youth movements across South Asia that are facing very similar challenges.
Something to chew on.